What does this button do?
Galaxy Brain, activate!
The fabric of the star had begun to fray, its lands rent by tooth and claw.
Are you all right?
I can look after myself, you know. And I've had enough of this rabble. Come on!
As the chaos spread, the star seemed doomed to unravel, and yet... there were those who stood in defiance of that fate.
The hour is come, creature. It's all or nothing.
The stage is set, but will our hero deign to play their part?
You took your time. 'Tis as we feared. The respite afforded this land was but fleeting. The end draweth nigh. Still has secrets to tell. Take care, my friend.
So, Charlian would keep its counsel while the world is lost to ruin.
It would. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Hey everybody. I put a lot of effort into making sure that I could get that trailer to play and work out with the timing and everything. I'm happy. I'm proud of myself. How you doing today, everybody? How's everything going? Is life today everything that you thought it would be? Or at least, like, 10% of what you thought it would be? Yeah, 56 in queue, we shouldn't have to wait long. Yeah, see, there we go. Yay, we're in! We did it! And yeah, apparently there's a Heaven's Turn event going on that I couldn't find where you started at last night. And I didn't look it up because I think I'll save that for maybe Sunday festivities. We'll do that. Instead, what we're going to do is start off with the story. Shit. Oh, there it is. Okay. We're gonna start off with the story. We're gonna pick up in the story here. Because it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've done any story. It's been a minute since I've done anything in this game. Just, you know, circumstances and what have you. I'm excited. So where we're at right now, we have made it to Garlemald, the land of the Imperialists. The land of the Empire. And, oh, okay. Well, little cold out here, but I guess if you want to wear a Speedo, that... You do you. Anyway, yeah, we made it to Garlemald. We encountered a whole lot of tempered Imperialists. We are the Ilsavard contingent. We are being sent in here to try and break the enthrallment of so many of the Imperial population, because as one of the leaders of the Grand Company of Eorzea said, it would be pretty shit of us to go in there and just kill all these people, especially while they're enthralled. And it's better that we protect our own morals, our own humanity, and try to free them as best we can. Even though, you know, we've been at war for like decades, if not centuries. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're trying to free the Imperials as best we can. What ho, chums? Been given something to do, have you? As it happens, I too have been ordered to make myself useful. Sounds like a rather tall order. Since you ask, we're to scour the Eblan Rime for survivors. What? Wander around ice fields on the off chance you'll find someone? You'd take forever to finish the job without the benefit of my expertise. Or, more specifically, my telescope. Come, friends, I know just the spot to begin our search. Cool, so we're gonna do some telescoping. I dig it. I'll probably regret this, but we may as well humor him. Alright. Yeah, I haven't even begun to look for ether currents in this area. But I'm sure we'll pick some up along the way. That's how it usually goes. Hello, sir. Oh, that's looks like a Zoe over there. Oh, and we're getting some new music. It's Ovabos. Ovabos D's nuts. Ah, got him. 38 Golms to the southeast. Oh, right up there. Oop. Oh, oh, oh. Hey, there we go. So yeah, at this point, we still don't have any individual area completely unlocked. Yeah, every area we have access to so far, we only have like a third of that area that we can actually access. I spy with my little telescope a massive sheep thing, or maybe it's a cow. Not what we're after either way. Is that an ether current? Ah, no. Just a wind sprite. Other than that, it's all snow, snow, snow. Hello, what do I see o'er yon hillock? There's no mistaking it. That's a girl. A survivor? Show me. Over there, behind that tree. Looks like she's running away from something, though surely not us. She wouldn't even know we're here unless she had a telescope like mine. All I can tell is that she's wearing a pale green dress. Rather fetching one at that. She'll be long gone by the time we get anywhere near. We should be able to follow her footprints. I'll let Lucia know where you're heading. Oh, and take these warming tinctures with you. Poor girl must be chilled to the bone, if not on the verge of freezing to death. That's actually very thoughtful. Thank you. But won't you need some for yourself? No, I'll be fine. As a man of chivalry, my honor demands I do no less. And lest we forget, the very reason we are here is to protect those in need. Now go, and Godspeed. At least he, since she's far enough away, he doesn't have a chance to hit on her yet, so that's a plus. I feel that's going to happen, though. Yeah, we're playing on the Black Mage right now because, Black Mage is my original class. Kind of the class I've played as through so many things, so figured why not have it be the main class for story stuff, right? Trail of fresh footprints lead east. These footprints appear to be the same as those you saw previously, and they lead toward the building. Speaking of footprints in games, I don't know if y'all played Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, but in that game, there was a point where you had to try and do. I'm pretty sure it was in Revengeance. Maybe it was in 4 when you were with Raiden, but I'm pretty sure it was in Revenge. Could have been in either one. Anyway, there was a point where you had to try and track some footprints, but we're talking PS3 era system and everything, and it was just like impossible for me to distinguish between a footprint and everything else around it. And I wonder if that's why you don't see that too often in games where, this game, yeah, it uses it, but it also puts sparkly shit so you can see the footprints. But I can't really think of games I've played that have tried using a mechanic like that. I wonder if there's others that are out there that have used that. I know... Okay, no. I was going to say Witcher, but no. Witcher had your tracking be like floating blood particles, I think. We're getting closer, I'm sure of it. At first, we thought she'd gone inside the building, but the door doesn't look to have been opened in some time. I've had that same problem with a game I've been recently playing. It's a horrible mechanic because if it doesn't load the texture of the footprints, you can die instantly in some cases. Ooh, what game's that? She might still be nearby, so we'll keep looking around here. Then again, it's also possible that she ran right past this place. Would you mind searching up ahead? Can do, little buddy. Also, completely unrelated, real talk, I'm pretty sure my mom and her friend got high today. Because my mom had accidentally called me, and I noticed I had a missed call, and I called her, and I could hear her friend in the background who sounded like she's either loopy on morphine at a hospital or she was high. And then I texted my mom a couple things earlier, and normally mom makes long texts or very I don't know, very forceful texts. None of her texts were more than 3 words, and she didn't seem to remember them, so I'm thinking that might have happened. Anyway, the evil within. There's an enemy that only appears during attack animations. Oh, so you have to try and monitor footprints so you can avoid the attacks, and it sometimes doesn't load them. You know, Hades, now I think Hades does have a footprint thing for when you fight Hades, but it's really apparent. I mean, it's you're on snow, and his footprints are big and very black, and yeah, they help to pick up on, but they're not entirely necessary, because even when he zooms forward to do an attack, you're also going to see like a brief circle of how big the spin of his spear is going to be. The girl in the green dress anxiously surveys her surroundings. Were you to call out to her from this distance, it might attract wild beasts to your location. It would be safer to get closer first, but you must do so without drawing her attention. Ooh. You're going to do some stealth? Follow the girl from a safe distance. The objective will end in failure if you are noticed. Make use of cover such as rocks to approach her without being seen. Similarly, the objective will also end in failure if you fall too far behind her. Should you fail to complete the objective, you may try again by returning to the designated location. Well, that's the thing. These enemies don't leave footprints. They move objects in the environment, and you need to guess where they are. You can only see footprints if they step over wet surfaces, which aren't always available. Oh. Oh. Yeah, that sounds kind of dickish, actually. They don't leave consistent footprints, and I think sometimes the graphics don't register them. It's a 2014 game, so I'm guessing it bugs out sometimes. Oof. Oh damn, she running. Well, hey, hopefully I can hide behind that rock up there. I know that the first time we had to, well, I don't know if everybody had to do it, but it might have been part of a gold quest chain, but you had to use this mechanic to try and hide from a little boy who was stealing things so that you could track him. And I know that took me quite a few tries. Nope, nobody's here. Ah, safety. Okay. If those beasts spot me, I'm done for. Got to keep going. They're all depending on me. They? I know you don't. Get away from me, overgrown rose. Oh, shit, 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 shit. No. Damn it! I flubbed it. Love the game, but because there are a lot of one-shot enemies, it's a pain with that mechanic. I'm glad games don't do it as much anymore. Yeah, trying to think of like any kind of like invisible enemies I can think of from games. I feel like there was some type in one of the DMCs, but it's not really registering. Yeah. Yeah, and then with Metal Gear, maybe, I mean, outside of like maybe a boss or something. The Fury? The Fury. Is that a DMC1 or DMC3? Because DMC1, really the only two bosses I recall other than the final boss is Lava Spider and then Nero Angelo. I want to say there was some weird dog thing that, like, its body moved like ferro fluid. Oh, hey, somebody else who's doing this. Okay. No, I did not play DMC5. I watched Shemp's stream a little bit of it, but I did not play it. The last one I played to completion was 4, but I didn't enjoy it. And then 5, just something about the redesign was something about the way that they like artistically designed Dante in that just didn't appeal to me. Which I know is weird to say because I loved DMC, and I know people hated Dante in that, but Heliogabus. All right, let's find it. Call in my trust. No, damn it! I didn't. I meant to. There we go. I meant to call in my trusty chocobo. I really hope somebody comes to help me. Chocobo, would you stop standing in the AoE? Oh my gosh. If Choco hadn't been standing in that AoE, I would have been fine. Slowly locked in. DMC4 Dante's outfit was definitely my least fave. The 5 o'clock shadow look isn't also a turn on in my book either, but people love it. And like I say, 5 just, yeah, I don't know, just something, it felt like it, this isn't going to fully explain what I mean in my brain, but, I felt like it had, the aesthetic to it made the characters feel more dirtbag than, like, stylish devil fighters, I guess. We're gonna try that again. See if we can position in a way that the Chocobo doesn't instantly get nerfed like hell. Oh hey, I just realized. But through all the work of doing this, might as well use it. Roses are red, violence is due. That's the that's the name of the fate. That's amazing. That is wonderful. Alright, you come here, fucker. I'm gonna punch you in every one of those mouths. Okay, since it's aggroed on me, here we go. I guess I fucked up my rotation there. No, Chocobo, why'd you come over here? Oh no, Chocobo! Ah, dang it. Oh, sorry. Freaking Chocobo. I forgot that when you put it into healer stance, it decides to walk right on you. Decides to stand right next to you. I think after I finish Endwalker, I'm probably going to do a New Game Plus of some of the earlier stuff. Just to, you know, kind of fill in some gaps in my memory. Gaps of things that are definitely tied into Endwalker, but that I might not have paid super attention to because you know how Realm Reborn was before they streamlined it. It got to be a little much text at one point. Okay, let's try this again. Dang it, I was paying too much attention to my chocobo and I screwed up my reaction. I keep screwing it up because I'm not paying attention. Keeping too much thought on my chocobo. At least somebody else got the aggro finally. Did it! And here I was about to give a eastern bow to Various, and then he just flies off like a ghost in the night. Well, it's a good thing the girl in green came back to this random tree. Metal Gear Solid. Wow. Wow. Yeah, so I spent part of today trying to get things sorted out with our landline here at home. because we have a call blocker due to Grandpa giving his number out for every free magazine in existence, and thus it becoming full of spam and everything. And so I have numbers whitelisted, and then I had the voicemail set up so that way if like family or someone called that I didn't know their number, they could leave a message and I could add them to the whitelist. Apparently the voicemail never, it glitched like when they first set it up, and it's never actually worked for the year or 2 years that we've had it now. So over this week I've been calling to get it set up and get everything going with it. They were able to get it sorted out, but one problem was that I was supposed to get an email every time that we get a voicemail. It was supposed to email me the voicemail, who it was from, and it includes an audio file of the voicemail. That wasn't happening, and turns out the reason why is because they put whoever entered in my email info put it in as iCloud.net. So luckily that one was just a quick fix. Yeah, now the voicemail and everything's working perfectly for our home phone, so I can continue to have the call block active so that we don't get spam mail and crap. Or spam calls, I mean. The final spurt, huh? I'm gonna hide behind this tree. Okay. I'll hide behind this rock. Okay. I'll hide behind this other tree. Oh, okay, good, we did it. Yoosh. Phew, still in one piece. Who are you? Stay back! This house is packed with explosives. Take another step and I'll blow this place sky high. Please, we just want to talk. I'm Alphino. This is my sister Alize, and our good friend Kuroja. We have no intention of hurting or taking anything from you or anyone else. I give you my word. We and our comrades have come here to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. Aid? You savages are the ones responsible for all this. You did this to us. What? We didn't, I promise you. One of the other reasons we came was to find out what happened here, in fact. The Tlafroi are the ones to blame. They're the ones who laid waste to Garlemald, and they won't stop until they've destroyed the entire world. They're the enemy. Our enemy. On our way, we encountered Imperial soldiers who had been made their thralls. Those poor souls are now in our care, and we are striving to cure them of their affliction. You're the first person we've met who wasn't already enslaved. How were you able to escape the Telefori's influence? Are there any others like you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to overwhelm you. Let's start with introductions. Can you tell me your name? My name's Licinia. As for how I've managed to stay sane, I've been asking myself the same question. Ever since that night, and the roar, that terrible roar, and then the screams, screaming too, I think. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Then came the silence. Everything was still. It was like waking up from a nightmare. I thought that maybe the fighting had stopped, so I stepped outside. If your hells are real, I saw one that day. I ran past friends and people I'd known all my life, eyes vacant, dead, staring at the sky. Others were mad and violent. I saw them struggle with soldiers, but didn't stay to watch. I fled as far as my legs would take me. Do you have family here? Is this their home? No, this is Victor's Spoils, a mansion for retired soldiers. Or it was, but now me and a few others are borrowing it. As for the explosives, I was making that up. Just wanted to keep everyone else safe, and I didn't know if you were... The truth is, our supplies are running low. You said you're here to help. Can you? Of course. Whatever assistance we can provide, we will. Thank you. I better tell the others first, though. Wait here. Okay, so, random woman who is definitely Garlean, but somehow didn't get enthralled. This is everyone. Oh no, is that Mark Zuckerberg? Okay, good. I was worried. He kind of he had a little bit of Zuckerberg look to him. Lycidia says you can be trusted, but these are desperate times. We'd be fools to let foreign troops into our home. Having said that, were you to provide us with means of heating the place as a sign of goodwill, perhaps we could take you at your word. If that is too much to ask, then leave us be. Time to put my firewood gathering skills to use. Could you provide the spark with a little magic, Alizé? We'll have a fire burning in no time. May we build it under that gazebo? The what? Oh, you mean the bower. Yes, yes, do as you will. I don't know what the difference between a gazebo and a bower is. I know what a gazebo is, I don't know what a bower is. ... Alright. Hold on. What's that? Is that a radio? It's a radio. Okay. Wonder what's, like, what or whose signal they're picking up there. Lucinia's inner turmoil is writ plain on her face. Oh, sorry, I'm still finding it hard to come to terms with all that's happened. Now that you're here, though, I'm hoping things might change for the better. You know, I've worked up quite a sweat from all that running about, so I'll leave space around the fire for the others. As you can tell, they're in a far worse state than me. We were planning to look for somewhere warmer with more food, but they're not going anywhere until we bring them back to health, which I don't know how to do. Is there anything you can do to help them? I mean, I am a very skilled white mage, so just saying here. I can treat their frostbite and their wounds, but it will take time for the fire to do its work. That would be a good occasion to make use of Madelaine's tinctures, the ones that can warm the body from the inside out. Would you make sure everyone gets one? The numbness is beginning to subside, but I suspect once the fire dies, it will return with a vengeance. Here's a random random thing that people that you don't trust want you to put in your body. Being gifts from the notoriously unreliable Madeleine, it is highly doubtful this concoction will have the intended effect. If only there were willing, and more importantly unwitting, volunteers on whom to test it. Wow. Warming tincture? Never heard of such a thing. No harm in trying. Tell me, have you heard aught of the city? Calling it that seems absurd after what's happened. It's nothing but ruins now. The few buildings still standing offer no more than meager protection from wind and snow. Food production, water purification. The Magitech that sustained us has come to a grinding halt. What machina that remains operational cannot be run for lack of cerulean. Of course, Cerulean Engines is full of the stuff, for all the good it does us. No one here knows the first thing about extraction or refinement. All is well, never better. Oh, what sweet libation is this? Is it poison by any chance? It was a joke, a joke. If I laugh, 'tis that I may not weep. So said the poets. Alas, my tears would freeze on my cheek ere they fall. We are the blessed damned, to bear witness to the fall of the great empire, while our brethren lie dead, or live on as puppets of flesh. First came the war, then came the roar. When morning came, Garlemald was no more. In a cacophony of gunfire, explosions, and screams was our beloved capital razed to the ground. From the rubble rose the disheveled remnants, the lavish finery caked in ash as they shuffled mindlessly towards the palace. Each bearing a fragment of stone and metal, offered, perhaps, to the architect of our destruction. Hopeful few tried to reason with the deranged, wanted to be beaten for their kindness. But I knew better than to plead with the horde. I fled with my health, not my conscience preserved. Now I wait with my fellow cowards for our final judgment. What do you want? A tincture? May as well drink it, I suppose. This? It's a radio. You gonna have them where you come from, I take it? We use them to listen to messages sent by others, even over great distances. There are different types, but this model is by far the most popular. Made with quality components, crafted with the finest ore. Sourced from Locus Ammonis, it is. Locus Ammonis. Ammonis looks too much like Amogus. There's gotta be memes about that already. Something something Locus Ammonis is sus. Not at all that useful since the capital fell into ruin. People at the broadcasting station must have either fled or ended up like all the others. So all we've been hearing is the same music, being played over and over again. Home beyond the horizon. An ode to the brave men and women set to reclaim our ancestral homeland of Locus Ammonis. We may have founded an empire in these frozen wastes. We always hope to take back what was once ours. It's a solemn reminder that though we must suffer great hardship, better days will surely come. Despite everything, I believe that Emperor Varus yet lives, that he speaks to us through our radios. It was a cunning strategy, faking his murder. He must have foreseen this catastrophe and chosen to conceal himself, that he may one day make his triumphant return. Yes. Yes, I'm sure of it. Emperor Varus would not be defeated so easily. Got bad news for you, bud. What's that? So, this is what you gave the others? Thank you. I'll save it for later. Actually, I have a few things to ask you. Are you part of the group staying in Lanterum? Or Laterum? I saw Legatus Vigilia's troops heading towards the Magna Glacies at, goddamn. Can't remember how it was pronounced. Magna Glacies? Glacies? Glacamaca? A few days ago. Are they the ones you encountered? Camp Broken Glass, you call it. And Vigilia and her men are all there now. So how did you reach the Magna Glacies? Did you cross the mountains on foot? Airships. There might be a way to... Nicinia, where is everyone? Is something the matter? A voice from inside, you say? You must be imagining things. Everyone's out here. Perhaps a baby Almasti has found its way into the house. It wouldn't be the first time. Without the soldiers to scare them off, wild animals have been roaming closer to the settlements. Some have been known to attack people, too. I've just had an idea. If you and yours are strong enough to defeat a Legatus, then surely a few beasts shouldn't pose a threat. If you have a mind to continue helping us, perhaps you could head to the other side of the lake. There's a small group of tappers living there, people whose job was to extract ceruleum. They still do, from what we can tell. I've tried asking if they would share their fuel with us. They're not willing to give it away. They want food in exchange, lots of food. And that's something we don't have and can't get on our own. On top of that, to even reach their den, we'd have to make our way past all those creatures. Would you be willing to go in our place? We only need enough ceruleum to last until the others are strong enough to travel to your camp. If the offer still stands, that is. Oh, and I don't expect you to give up your own supplies, but there might be another way to pay the tappers. You'd best watch out for baby Almasties while we're away. Yes, of course. If I see any, I'll be sure to shoo them away. To reach Tapper's Den, you'll have to cross the lake. The ice is thick enough to support a person's weight, but if you'd rather not take the risk, you'll need to take the long way around. Finding the entrance can be a bit tricky, too, so it's easier to just look for someone standing guard outside. However you decide to head there, please be careful. I'm gonna head there in a fucking straight line. That's how I'm gonna do it. Level 82 Ebromau? Okay. Man with the Golden Sun. Snowball's Chance. What if we're gonna get another ether current along the way here? Stay away from me, overgrown rose. Oh, what's that? Oh, okay. In Ilsbardian Tursus. Weird looking fish lizard thingy. $137 yalms to the south. So it's either in the cave or to the southeast. Okay, so yeah, I think it's going to be over this way. We're going to run and grab that real quick. Hey, there it is. You know, this definitely has the feel of, you know, snowy area in a Final Fantasy game for sure. I feel like their snowy areas usually have a kind of theme to them. Although if there's no snowboarding here, 0 out of 10. Worst game ever. Immediately boycotting. Oh wow. Grandpa must still be talking to Betty, which is nice. It's been nice when people are calling to send him well wishes and stuff, and chatting with him for a while. Also, Barius, I do apologize, but I got my my day templates mixed up and accidentally used the... Which one is that? Accidentally used the Saturday template. I used the Friday template for, hey, I'm going to be live later, and then accidentally used the Saturday template for, hey, I'm live right now, get the fuck in here. So, already I'm ruining the brand. Already. I'm just trashing it. Oh, excuse me. Also, hey, happy 3 white dudes are going to prison for the rest of their lives day, everybody. Some good news that we all needed, which is 3 white dudes didn't get away with murdering a 3 white dudes didn't get away with murdering a black man, and yeah. It's best thing to hear. I'm not sure how to pronounce his first name. I don't know if it's Ahmed or Ahmad, but yeah, Aubrey. That trial has come to its conclusion, and apparently there's a federal trial that's going to follow after it. I don't know if the federal trial, like what's going to happen from that, like if that's going to... what punishment could be given on top of their already existing punishments. Now, 2 of them have life with no parole, no chance of parole. 1 has life with a chance of parole. but I'm wondering if in the federal trial, if that third one will get like an extra sentence that'll just negate the parole part. I don't know. And I know that some may want a death penalty applied to them, which, I mean, this is a touchy thing, and I don't want to tell people how to feel. But me personally, I'm anti-death penalty, and I'm glad that it's life without parole instead, because to me, I feel that it's a far. If the intent is to punish someone for a absolutely horrible and heinous crime that they clearly do not have any remorse for, which prison isn't supposed to be punitive, prison is supposed to be rehabilitative, and clearly our prisons aren't. But in the event that we want to punish people who, kill a black dude for jogging because he's black, yeah, I feel that life without parole is a much better punishment than death sentence, because the death sentence, yeah, they die, but that's it. Like, they're dead. They're not going to feel anything from any of it. Whereas life, well, now they get to spend the rest of their time in a tiny room, probably getting beaten up, and having to live every day with the fact that the only reason they're in there is because they killed a dude and thought they could get away with it. So, yeah. Happy about the turnout on that. I'm glad that at least one court case in recent memory has a positive outcome. Obviously, it never should have had to happen, but some justice, I hope. Who goes there? How did you find us? I would do a Patrick Warburton voice for this guy, but I can't get. It's too many octaves too low for me. What do you mean I stand out like a sore thumb? The purebloods over at Victor's Spoils hadn't given away our location. You'd never have found us. Those stuck-up arseholes. Thought they could come waltzing in here, demanding cerulean with nothing to offer in return. Ha! Looks like the boot's on the other foot and now the capital's gone to shite. So they resorted to sending you to negotiate? I know your game, sellsword. If they think we'll give in to intimidation, they've got another think coming. Oh, okay, you want to fight? Alright. Let's fight. Am I dead yet? Yeah, I now that I've had plenty of playtime with the Black Mage after the changes, I do really like how they made the changes here. It makes it a little less cumbersome, so that you're not missing things so that you're not like screwing up rotations or missing attacks solely because of some timer somewhere beyond your control or something. I feel they've streamlined it a bit, made it work really well. There you are. Oh, sorry, wrong voice. I didn't know it was Alice. Just after you left, Licinia asked me to go and catch up with you in case you needed a hand. Someone must have let slip that I have a little experience in transporting barrels of cerulean. So this is Tapper's Den. Well then, after you. Alize needs a lozenge after that. Who are you? What happened to the guards? Eorzeans and rebels here to save the people of Garlemald? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why in the hells would you pass up this chance to put those Imperial bastards to the sword? Let me guess. None of you are Garlean? You were brought here from other lands? Garabania, Yangsha, Boja, Dalmasca, to name but a few. Some dragged here against our will, others fed bullocks about a better life, all put to work extracting cerulean. All given the esteemed title of On, placing us firmly on the bottom rung of the ladder. The old hierarchy means nothing in the new Garlemald, says we. About the only thing that's escaped more or less unscathed is cerulean gens. Still sustaining us, even with our paymasters out of the picture. We hear you're experts in drawing up ceruleum from the bottom of the lake. But how can you do that if it's frozen over? Ah, wouldn't you like to know? Trade secrets, I'm afraid. At any rate, it's not as if ceruleum is used for much these days, what with the city in ruin. We take enough to power our heaters and save the surplus for later. And though it helps stave off the cold, it does sod all about our hunger, unless we can trade it away. Speaking of which, be sure to tell your contingent we've got ceruleum by the barrelful. If they're interested, we'll exchange it for whatever provisions they're willing to spare. We can certainly ask, but if you're all free to go now, why carry on living here? Free to go? Nowhere. Even if we managed to get back to our homelands, there'd be nothing left for us, thanks to the Empire. The knowledge and skills we acquired working here would be practically useless outside of Garlemald. So we're staying for the time being. As long as there's a need for ceruleum, we'll find a way to get by. Even if Garlemald as we knew it is gone for good. Gone for good. Regardless of what the Ilsabad contingent does for the people of Garlemald, the Empire itself is already a thing of the past. For many, that would be a cause for celebration, while for others, their whole way of life will have been turned upside down. To all the atrocities committed in the Empire's name, perhaps it is for the best that it is consigned to history. But what of the ordinary people, and their lives and their stories? Should they be forgotten too? I suppose there'll be plenty of time to ponder that later. For now, let's see about getting some ceruleum. So you've come seeking ceruleum, have you? What? Those purebloods up at Victor's spoils sent you? To turn to their enemies for help. They must be more desperate than I'd thought. Then again, Licinia's got her little sister to think about. A sister? But we only saw Licinia and 3 men. It's possible she died from whatever was ailing her. If she needed treatment, I doubt there'd be any way to get it around here. I may have refused Licinia at first, thinking she'd come back with something to exchange, but I can spare them a bottle's worth of ceruleum. Consider it a reward for introducing me to the rest of your contingents. Be sure to send them our way, you hear? I can't for the life of me think why Licinia would keep her sister a secret from us. But we can ask about that after we've delivered the ceruleum. Come on, let's hurry back. Okay. Alright, so I guess we're gonna hurry back. Easy enough. Oh yeah, we're gonna head over this way, I think. Sparius, how'd your day go? Had the day off, it's going well so far. Well, that's good. Did you get some prime gaming and lifting in? Did you work them muscles? This isn't right. It's too quiet. Would have thought Alphino would still be treating them by the fire, but they're nowhere to be seen. I'll look inside the house while you search outside. They can't have gone far. Oh boy. Oh no. They asked me to help carry supplies. When I followed them back here, they attacked me. Caught me off guard, forced me to defend myself. Here they fared rather worse than me. You can't fool us. We know what you're about. Vultures, that's what you are. Waiting in the wings for us to show weakness, then in you swoop. Here to help would rot. All a ploy to make us lower our guard. Let you in. Put ourselves at your mercy. Put us in chains, steal our lands, get your revenge. You're wrong. It's not what any of us want. Save the arguments for later. We've bigger problems. I found empty medicine bottles and a bed that was still warm. It's true. Licinia was hiding her sick sister inside the house. But now, there's no sign of either of them. Where are they? Where did they go? Away from you and yours. If you think I'll tell you, you're a fool. I'd never give up my people. We're trying to help them, you idiots! Her sister's ill. The empty bottles prove it. So the medicine ran out, or she put it in her pockets to make it easier to carry. Or to avoid the sound of clinking glass. There are beasts everywhere. How could you let them go alone? To protect them from you. You invade our homeland. Taint it with the same sorcery used to slay our countrymen. Garlean should sooner die than suffer the insult. Better for them to flee and keep their purity intact than be corrupted by your vile magics. We were waiting for a chance to free them since the moment you arrived. This is getting us nowhere. I cannot say how Licinia and her sister will react when we find them, but find them we must. Go on without me, both of you. I first need to tend to my injuries, and theirs. I will join you in the search after. Alright. But be careful. We'll do our best to find them quickly. There's only one path out of here, so that's where we'll start. I mean, it makes sense that they wouldn't trust, you know, the people from the places they've been warring with forever to come here with good intentions. Mostly did some personal work projects, and I did have to swing by campus today to receive a package that I needed to return to sender. Oh yeah? We got a package today. Some of our family that lives out in the eastern U.S., they sent a floral arrangement from the floral shop in town. And Mom went and picked it up and brought it here for Grandpa and everything. It was a gift from a vendor, and I had no idea who it was from or why. Better to reject than receive, yeah. Especially if there's like corporate policies and stuff that have to do with what do you call it? Gifts and everything, yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna finish this snack real quick. Okay. Keep getting hairs stuck right in there. I don't know why. Alright, to continue on. Two sets of fresh footprints. Young women, judging by the size. This is definitely them. Come on. Hi, Cerulean Sprite. How you doing? The trail stops at the frozen lake. Perhaps they chose this route so as not to leave footprints. I can't think of any other reason. Look at this place. It's crawling with beasts, and I can only imagine how hard it must be for her ailing sister to cross the ice. We could really do with Alphino's help, but we can't afford to wait for him. Let's split up and look for clues. Alright, clue time it is. Oh, I think I spot something over here. The empty bottle smells faintly of alcohol. A thin coating of dirt indicates it has been here for some time and is unlikely to have any connection to Licinia or her sister. That's a mean rose. Trying to check the perimeter first because I know how much Squeenix likes to have objectives be like right outside of, like, technically outside of the circle, but still within it. Oh no, blood. Blood staining the snow appears to be fresh. Judging by the amount, the victim may have been severely wounded. A trail of blood leads southeastwards. That's not good. Excuse me. Oh no. Two bodies are already cold.
Blood trail. We found one. They were attacked. No. Why? Why wouldn't they?
Safer to brave the wilds than trust in our magic. We should have... I should have... We can't leave them like this. We have to take them home.
What if we're only making it worse?
Maybe we don't belong here, but neither do they. Not out here in the wind and the cold. I heard the story about Varus's voice from beyond the grave. Of course, I didn't believe it, but Licinia and her sister did. Perhaps there is something to the tale after all. I want to understand, so I'm going to borrow this for a while, if that's all right. You had every reason not to trust us. We came as trespassers, invaders. But I pray that in time, we will be more than that to you. That we will find a way to help your loved ones. And see that no more children are left to freeze alone in the snow.
That got sad and dark real fast. There must have been something we could have done. But what? Should we have never come here? Would they still be alive if we hadn't? And I see what they're setting up here. I mean, the fact that, yeah, the people that just had their entire homeland wrecked, of course they're not really going to be trustful of gallivanting soldiers coming in from all these other nations. We've already caused enough harm here. Let us return to the camp before we cause any more. So those inside the house, we should send someone to take care of them. Someone who isn't us. All we can do for now is make our report to Lucia, and do everything in our power to prevent further tragedy. So let us linger here no more. Come. Oh wait, I'm supposed to go back to... okay. You know what? Here's what we'll do. We're gonna go and get this ether current. And then we'll just teleport back to the base, to the encampment. Don't have time to put up with your lizard shit, buddy. Oh wait, okay. Hey, a fate spawned. I'm gonna go do a fate. Wait, are these penguins? Despite appearing to be comprised largely of snow, the bizarre Snegovic requires warmth much like any other creature. Cerulean pipelines, for whatever reason, give off a certain amount of heat, which attracts Snegoviki. There is concern, however, that allowing them to huddle around the pipes will raise the temperature to dangerous levels, so they must therefore be driven off to prevent a potential explosion. Aw, but they're so cute. They're like little birds in hats. Oh no, they're like no, they're like the what is it, Kokapor thing? Yeah. Damn it. You forget what it's like to be weak again. And that's a long way to walk back. We'll just let it be for now. We'll continue on with our forced teleport. Oh, you know, that could explain some things. Let's go... We're gonna do a quick shopping trip. Because I just realized I haven't bought anything for casters. I've been buying it for other classes. Actually, hold on. Okay, what is our lowest gear? Oh, it's all 525. Okay. 2 of those, actually. Just want to see how this compares, because they're both item level 525, but I'm wondering if the stats are any better. Nope. Alright. Now we'll continue on. That's quite interesting. In Iowa, which the Republican control the Iowa Senate there, Republicans are banning press from, being at the benches that are specifically in the Senate chamber for the press. Yeah, so I guess there's been these benches that have been like along the front wall of the chamber there, facing all of the senators' desks for long time. Republicans instead are forcing journalists to sit up in the public gallery, and that's a concern because it's them trying to distance journalists from being able to like ask questions and stuff like that. Huh. Interesting. I'll go ahead and be linking it in chat for anyone who is interested. And to continue with the story. Oh, so there's one way up to the north. Stray Dog Strut, Metal Gear Solid again. Alize and Alphano tell me they have finished their preliminary search for survivors, but refrained from saying much more than that. Clearly they are reluctant to provide details. Might I ask for your account? Yeah, we'll tell you the sad story.
Thank you for your report. We shall inform the troops of these developments and instruct them to proceed with the utmost caution should they encounter any survivors.
Allow me to go and speak with the ones at the victor's spoils. They may be more willing to listen to a fellow Garlean and accept our offer of assistance.
I pray you are right. And though I am loath to burden you any further, should there be an appropriate occasion to speak of Licinia and her sister, please do so.
I am sorry to have put you through this.
My distress is nothing compared to their suffering. So tell me, what else have we learned?
As you may have already heard, we have succeeded in curing the members of the Popularis, Maxima identified. They have provided us with some intriguing insights into the current state of Garlemald. The assassination of Emperor Varus was the catalyst for the civil war. Nerva declared his claim to the throne, and his opponents refused to recognize it. Fighting broke out in the capital, where Nerva's Third Legion clashed with the First, who remained loyal to Varus even after his death.
Of course, even Imperial warmongers would balk at the idea of turning their shining city into a battleground. Like burning down the wood to spite the wasps. Neither side would be so mad. Unless something or someone inflamed their animosity to such an extent that they could not help but act against their better judgment.
It brings to mind events at the Gimlet Dark, does it not? The Emperor's sudden withdrawal from the front lines, specifically. Nerva and his father, Titus, Varus's then political rival, took advantage of rumors that Crown Prince Xenos had been possessed by a demon.
Elidibus, what better way to disparage your enemies than with the truth, or a close enough approximation?
Indeed. But before their accusations could be substantiated, many of Titus's followers were silenced. While some were merely stripped of their status, others died under curious circumstances. One after another, suddenly and suspiciously.
Again, Elidibus. Like as not, he had a hand in it. No evidence was found to implicate Varus, certainly. Nevertheless, Titus, Nerva, and the Third Legion would have judged it a brazen attempt by the Emperor to rid himself of his political enemies. And then, in the midst of this growing turmoil, Varus Sosgalvus is murdered. And Garlemald's own prodigal son, Gaius van Belsar, is named the murderer. Shortly thereafter, Nerva claims the right of succession, and in response, the First Legion claims the assassination was part of a coup d'etat orchestrated by Titus and Nerva.
So no one is at fault, and everyone else is to blame.
I should add that both parties received substantial financial backing, presumably to provide them with the means and encouragement to pursue a swift victory, and that these contributions came from the self-same benefactor.
I'd heard House Brutus had been filling the Third Legion's coffers, but the First as well.
It would seem so. Though the Populares determined that the First Legion received funds from a variety of organizations, all had connections to House Brutus.
So Fandaniel, in the guise of Asahi, was playing both sides against each other the entire time.
The information we gained from my friends does not end there. One night, shortly after fighting broke out, the capital was shaken by an immense tremor. From that point onward, they have no memories, no recollection of any events, including our clash on the Magna Glaciers. But when asked about the Imperial Palace and its bizarre transformation, they somehow recall Emperor Varus giving them orders in their dreams.
Okay.
May the Tower of Babel stand as testament to the glory of Garlemald.
This sounds awfully familiar.
We have something to show you all.
Varus spoke to them through this radio. Perhaps it was a recording, but if not, that would be inexplicable.
We are of one mind, then.
The ether that permeates the ore used in this device is almost identical to that of the talismans.
I see it. While it is likely more by coincidence than design, these devices might also ward against a primal's influence. A picture is beginning to form. If the tremor felt throughout Garlemald was a wave of ether emitted by a primal, then while those within range would have been tempered, Those huddled around a radio desperate for news concerning the Civil War would have been spared.
No wonder Licinia kept it close.
My friends, I must speak with you. A young man was caught trying to steal our supplies. He is a soldier of the Iron Men, we think, but one who has not been made thrall. Thankfully, Magni restrained him before blood was spilled. The stranger is outside, if you wish to ask him questions.
Oh, we do. We definitely do.
I think we do.
Who do we have here?
Garleans? Traitors to your homeland! Have you no shame?
I am Lucia Junius, a temple knight of Ishgard. And you are?
Iulus Pier Norbanus. And that's all you invaders will get from me.
We are not here to invade Garlemald. Far from it. Like you, our allies in Eorzea and the Far East fight in defense of their lives and their loved ones even as we speak. But it is the people of Garlemald who have suffered most. This we know. And that is why we have come to offer you our aid, that we may unite against our common foe. Whether you believe me or not, those are the facts. Now, answer me this. Why would a proud soldier of the Empire be reduced to stealing? The situation must be dire indeed for you to go to such lengths. If it is supplies you seek, we would gladly share ours, or turn a blind eye while you leave with your spoils.
I will not negotiate. My commander will determine how to deal with you and yours. If you wish to treat with him, I will take you, but no more than 3.
Oddly specific number, but okay.
I don't much like the sound of that. But if we do accept his proposal, I suggest the 2 of us and...
Please allow me and Alize to act as envoys.
May I ask why?
We have seen with our own eyes the hardships the Garleans face. How their futures and lives hang in the balance.
It's not the warmest invitation, but it's an opportunity to prove our intentions true. Maybe not a chance to make things right, but a chance to make them better.
I can see that persuading you otherwise is a lost cause, but you will proceed with the utmost care.
A couple of children and what? A sellsword? Is this an insult?
Not in the least. You will find that they are more than qualified to speak on our behalf.
There are many dangers on the road ahead. I will need that back.
Right. You will be received as invited guests, and so I urge you to observe proper social etiquettes and conduct yourselves accordingly. Your safe return takes precedence above all else. Remember this. Thancred, in particular, will be worried sick if you're gone too long. May the Fury watch over and keep you. You and the children ready? We'll explain the route once we are outside your camp. If anyone attempts to follow us, we will judge it an act of hostility. We will not hesitate to take appropriate measures. I would expect nothing less. You have our full cooperation. I don't know, dude thinks he can take down the Warrior of Light. Okay. Right, this is far enough. Listen carefully. We head over that hill, then follow the road until we reach Liminal Station 4. Children in the lead. I want you where I can see you. We do have names, you know. I'm Alizé and he's Alphinaud. Last but not least, there's Kuroja. Kuroja. Where have I heard that before? No matter. Alphinaud and Alizé will watch the road ahead, while we bring up the rear. Wasn't lying about there being many dangers, so you're to run, not saunter, run, towards the station. If you even think about going for your weapon, the deal's off. Should any creatures bar the way, we go around them. Okay. Ready to make a dash for the station? When he was very adamant that I run, I thought that meant we were gonna absolutely have to use sprint, but I guess it didn't matter. This is it. The first stop, that is. Good. Looks like your friends knew better than to follow us. You wouldn't see Thancred unless he wanted you to. Are these your headquarters? No. We're stopping here so I can check for pursuers. Since it appears you've kept to your side of the bargain, we can carry on. North of the station is Reggio d'Amoro, one of the main residential areas. Or, at least it was. The afflicted roam the streets in packs. They'll tear us to shreds if given the chance. Keep close. No wandering off. Understood? From here, we'll be heading northeast, heading to the left of the railway. While the route itself is straightforward, getting past the hordes unseen is anything but. Keep your weapons at the ready. They would attack their own countrymen? Aye. They spare their own, but slaughter the rest without hesitation. Though we'll try to avoid detection, the chances of sneaking by completely unnoticed are slim at best. I will lead the way, but in the event we are seen, You're to fight them off. Those two will follow us, provided they can refrain from drawing their weapons. While I doubt they would be foolish enough to stab their guide in the back, I will not take that chance. With that said, let us proceed. Dude's too touchy. Jotun, what are you doing up there? That's not where Jotuns belong. Silly Jotun. Waiting for a train, buddy? Oh. I guess you aren't waiting for a train, because yeah. At least you can catch it if you want. I feel like I want to put High Blizzard where Thunder 3 is, but I don't want to have my Thunder spells only be on the second bar, because then if I get that that freebie to cast a free Thunder, I'm not going to notice it. But I don't know what I would take out. I guess I could move Umbral Soul. Okay, what if we move this over here? And it was on a square, okay. Move that to that. And then move that to that. Only there's a way to see all your attacks at once. Yeah, I mean, if I really felt like using an inferior input system, I guess I could make some space for more bars, but yeah, I don't know. I could always do actually, okay, hey, what if we move Thunder there? And then that way we've got our polyglot skills right next to each other. Oh, wait, oh, and then we could move Xenoglossy. Yeah, okay. I think that might work well. There is a setting to make it so you can view... It makes it so you can view, like, parts of your second bar at all times. That way, if you have like certain things that have cooldowns, you can have them there. But I tried it once. I tried using that, but I felt it was too obstructive for my playstyle. Also, Chuck, welcome back. Oh, I forgot. Did I? Okay, yeah. Pick a minion's still there. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I see why your comrades chose you. Julius, our contingent has come for a cure for the afflicted, tempered as we call it. Your people would need to be taken into custody that we may administer the treatment, but they would eventually regain their sanity. Is that so? For all I know, your treatment would simply force them to forsake one master for another. As far as I and my legion are concerned, they are no longer our people. They're beyond saving. Those who thought differently and tried to reason with them were butchered for their bleeding hearts. Come, we have to keep moving. Alright. Oh, that rose is back. Hey, it's some new hop traps. Looks like we're not being followed. We will continue onward. I meant what I said. These people deserve only death. I stayed my hand before, only out of a desire to remain undiscovered. That is still the higher priority. We should continue to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. Keep following the railway. You know, now that I think about it, yeah, they're nowhere in Eorzea at large is there a rail system. Of course, the Imperialists have a rail system. Also, yeah, so with some of the changes they made, I don't understand what purpose food has anymore outside of killing like random enemies out in the open, because it seems like all dungeons now, like, you only get XP at the bosses. This has always been a theme in Final Fantasy games. The Imperialist nations always have the best Machina. It's true, isn't it? There's kind of a theme there of, yeah, the technologically advanced are also usually the ones more evil, whereas the ones being subjugated are more spiritual or in tune with nature or something. great power comes the will to pursue conquest. Well, you know, that does also hold up in... it's funny that you make a joke on Spider-Man because if you think about it, like, pretty much every enemy of Spider-Man's is some form or another of either a mad scientist or somebody that is a victim of some kind of like mad science, or somebody that abuses some kind of scientific thing. Like a lot of them really follow that when you think about it. There's a whole lot of like technology and education makes you evil in Spider-Man, because even though I mean, you know, Peter, he's smart and all that, and he went to college for science shit, but like I guess he's like the good one, and he doesn't really. I mean, well, okay, I guess he made his own web slingers, but yeah, he's like amateur scientist, I guess. And it depends on which version you're paying attention to, because I know some Spider-Men, they have like it's the silk is actually some kind of super sciencey thin steel or whatever that shoots out of canisters. But if I remember right, the Raimi Spider-Man, the best Spider-Man, no, he just straight up shot web out of his wrists. And I'm sure that in the comic books, like, because I know there's so many different Spiders, man. That yeah. Yeah, so like I would say, like, so one that doesn't fit the idea I'm laying out would be Sandman. Sandman wasn't evil science or anything, but Sandman ended up being the victim of a experiment gone wrong. Well, I mean, I don't know in the comic books, but I know in the Raimi setup, he had like accidentally fallen into some kind of big science experiment superconductor thing that they were doing, and that's how his body became sand, and he had the control over it, and then of course he used it. But then you had oh my god, was the guy that played Sandman the same guy that was the teacher in Easy A? We're looking this up real quick. We are looking this up real fast. Okay, so Spider-Man 3. Yeah, okay, yeah, Thomas Hayden, because that's who played Sandman. And Thomas Hayden was also in Easy A as Mr. Griffith. Wild. Wild. I'm glad that things worked out for him, that he eventually was able to find, you know, steady employment, although, well, I guess it depends which way you want to take it, of which movie is the precursor to the other. If we go chronologically as far as release, Spider-Man 3 came out before Easy A, so that means that, like, what, he escaped prison or whatever, his daughter died, he became Sandman, or I can't remember if it's... Shit happened, he became Sandman, and then he goes on to be a teacher in Easy A. But if you go the opposite, that actually makes a little bit extra sense, because in Easy A, he's a teacher who finds out that his wife was cheating on him with a student, and they get a divorce, and then, like, yeah, then he, I don't know, shit happens, and then he gets all into crime and then becomes Sandman. Yeah. That was a fun experiment. remember why they were doing their experiments, but that was a fair point. Yeah, I don't remember what the specific experiment was. I just remember there was some experiment that was happening and sand was involved. It looked like something like a precursor to like a super collider or something. But then, okay, so then you had Green Goblin. Green Goblin went he went nutso. Wasn't it because his, like, he'd been developing this shit, and the military ended up not thinking that it would be good, or not thinking that it was worth a damn, and so he decided to subject himself to it, and then that, like, drove him mad. And then his son, which was DeFranco, I want to say, took over later, and that was as revenge for his dad getting killed by Spider-Man, or what he believed happened. Doc Ock was the same kind of, wasn't it? No, well, okay, Doc Ock was showing off the tentacle shit, and then things went bad, and wasn't it, there was like a chip that was like on the back, like near the base of his skull. There was a chip that was part of the tentacle thing, and I think during that, like, accident, didn't the chip get destroyed? And for some reason that meant that he got emotional, or it did something to his brain, and he decided to go evil. And then, yeah, 3 had Venom, which was just alien symbiote that bonded to Topher Grace, and Topher Grace was, like, jealous of somebody or something. I think the chip has something to do with causing dual personalities. Yeah, it was something with regulating how it affected the brain itself, I think. But yeah, so then you had Venom, you had Sandman. Who else was in that? Because there was Venom, there was Sandman, there was New Goblin. It didn't have Rhino, though, did it? No, it didn't have Rhino. Maybe it was just those 3. Maybe it was just Venom and Sandman and then New Goblin, I guess. Yeah. And, you know, Peter's swag dancing. Look at what they've become. Would you still stand there and claim that they can be cured? Yeah. Though exposed to a vast quantity of a primal's ether may suffer severe corruption. Even with treatment, such victims are beyond salvation. Then you admit it. Now that you've seen these monstrosities for yourself, perhaps you'll think twice before speaking of a cure. Yeah, but, I mean, we're trying to go for the cure of the people that haven't evolved into weird tentacle monsters. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. Yeah, why does it say there's a... What? Let me in, damn you. Let me in. There's probably fun and games inside. Let me in, damn you. Wow, okay. So it's some underground etherites. I get it. I see what's going on here. Yeah, again, I want to restate, I'm not sure what purpose the food has anymore. I'd have to double check, but I feel like the last time that I ran the Tower of Zod, I noticed that you only got XP at the bosses, and I don't know if the XP boost of the food applies to the bosses. We're almost there. You've kept your side of the agreement, so I will keep mine. This way. Hate that. I take a shower and then my ear feels all weird for a little bit. Not like internally, just like the wax on it. It's like you can feel the wax, like, I don't know, extra waxing. Ah, okay, this is how we get down to it. This is Tertium, one of Garlemald's largest stations. Now serves as our headquarters. I already sent the twins ahead. I'll be with you soon, so wait for me at the bottom of the stairs. I think it means I need to use more Q-tips and probably impact my ear again. Hi, Theodora. ... Okay. Oh. She clearly has no intention of speaking with you. Got it. We're good. Okay, so they're living in a subway. It's plain to see why they chose this as their base of operations. They could have done a lot worse. Even so, I imagine it's not the easiest place to live. Indeed. If Julius was willing to make this perilous journey to Camp Broken Glass in search of food, their own supplies must be all but exhausted. They may be shielded from the wind and snow, but it's still bitterly cold. Much like Victor's spoils, it must be a constant struggle to keep their people warm. Lower your voices. Though you may be here as guests, the others will not take kindly to your presence. My commander is in the locomotive, over there. Betting that I can't attune to this, but we'll try anyway. Yep, figured. Yay, free XP. Ah, dang it.
These are their chosen representatives.
Very well. Let us hear what they have to say.
Yes, sir. I present to you our commander, Lord Quintus Van Kina, Legatus of the First Legion.
He's good looking.
The first? I had no idea you had survived.
We lost our emperor, our city, more than half our troops. For my wounds, I may never take the field again. But we survived, aye. In a manner much to your liking, I dare say.
We have no intention of adding to your misfortunes, nor do we bear you any ill will.
Spare me. Though you children may speak in earnest, overtures of peace ever ring hollow in my ears. So long as man stands to profit from his neighbor's suffering, war is inevitable. Driven from our ancestral homeland into this blasted waste, Yet still you yearned to rob us of our paltry scraps. 'Twas only with Magitech that you learned to keep your distance. Though we knew it was only a matter of time before you regrouped and returned. Conquest and Empire were our only defenses. Emperors Solus and Varys understood this, and through their campaigns saw us grow and prosper. Much blood has been spilled in Garlemald's name, aye. But if it is a choice between yours and mine, then it is hardly a choice at all.
I do not deny that a great many conflicts throughout history were driven by the desire or necessity to gain by another's loss. That is not why we are here. Nor have we come to petition your aid in the war with the Telophoroi, grave though that threat may be. Our purpose is simply this. We wish to help you. Let us help you. If there is aught that can be done to ease your plight, we would be glad to do it.
Perhaps you would. But regardless of the ideals you espouse, your leaders would not send an army into Garlemald if they did not stand to benefit. If we accept their aid, they will expect their efforts to be rewarded once the Telophoroi are no longer a threat. And after compensation and concessions, the great empire would be brought to heel. Her enemies rejoice at her downfall. Our third eye, a mark of shame.
We won't stand idly by and let your people be humiliated. And we're not alone in that. We only want to make a difference, to make this world of ours better. Surely you can understand that. What I'm trying to say is, there are so many people who just don't care about making you suffer. And maybe that's almost insulting after all the suffering you feel the world has subjected your people to, but believe it or not, that's the truth. And now we're here, and all we're asking is for you to tell us what you want, what you hope for.
So much blood has been shed, so much lost. All because of this endless war. Who wouldn't want to end it? Can we not work together to face our problems as one?
Answer me this, young peacemakers. If a world without conflict is your desire, why reject the unity and prosperity of Garlemald? Is it because we do not share your faith? That we do not share your heritage? That our ideals and virtues differ? That we cherish and hold in the highest that which you do not? Disparity is the root of discord, and peace built on compromise is flawed and fleeting. Happiness for one and all is a dream, and the reality is that to the victor go the spoils. That is why we Garleans will never submit nor surrender. For freedom and for pride, we will remain true to ourselves until the bitter end. That is my hope. It seems there is nothing more to say on the matter. You will remain here while I decide what is to be done with you. Do not be alarmed. No harm will come to you if you cooperate.
We will not resist. However, as your guests, I ask that we be allowed to speak with the other members of your group.
As you wish. I had no intention of locking you up, as by dawn you would be frozen stiff and you're no good to me dead. You are free to move about the encampment, but there is one condition. Collar them.
What are these?
Incentive. You'll be watched at all times. Stray too far or act suspiciously, and we will administer a rather painful shock. Stop! Keep away from that one. The champion of Eorzea is not so easily cowed. Even if she allowed herself to be collared, the shock would be no more than an itch. No. If she refuses to obey, we will activate the twins' restraints instead.
You needn't worry about us.
We'll forget we're even wearing them soon enough.
Even now, you still... Why go to such lengths? What is it all for? You are a curious one. A far cry from the merciless barbarian others paint you to be. You will be their warden. Take them away.
Yes, sir.
His eyes, when he was told that he was going to be their warden, were like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You know who you just told me she was? Whatever, man. What the fuck ever." As per Lord Quintus's instructions, I am to supervise you during your time here in Tertian. Before you ask, no, I don't have a key or any other means to remove your collars. Nor would I tell you if I did. If you try anything, you'll soon wish you hadn't. So, do you truly intend to speak with the others, or was that merely a ruse? We're in no hurry to disobey Lord Quintus, if that's what you wish, or if that's what you mean. Perhaps you doubt the wisdom of his decision? Do as you will. But remember, I'll be watching. If I catch wind of you doing anything untoward, trying to trick our people into turning their coats and the like, those shock collars will be the least of your worries. Understood? Though we're somewhat compromised, to put it lightly, let's not waste their opportunity. Suggest splitting up and learning what we can of their situation. And above all else, don't use magic's any sort. You, on the other hand, may go wheresoever you wish, even outside the camp. I know full well I couldn't stop you if I tried. But do not forget, if you do anything to endanger us or our interests, Alphino and Alize will pay the price. Okay, well, I can at least summon my chocobo, right? Cool. Thanks, bro. See ya. It's you, Kroja Sakami. I served under Lord Gaius in the 14th Legion. I was there on the night the Praetorium fell. You and your adventurers. You killed them. My comrades, my friends. Swept them aside in their dozens as though they were nothing to you. And maybe I am too. Just another faceless enemy to be cut down. It won't be long until our countrymen return. Until you get what you deserve. Mark my words. Okay, not off to a good start. Do the MSQ roulette again, Octavia. Don't mock me. I got a lot of laundry, Octavia. You want to see how long it takes me to fold it all? It's so cold. This young soldier is on the verge of losing consciousness. I know who you are. So-called champion of Eorzea. And to gloat, maybe? Wipe that smirk off your face. By the blood of our fallen compatriots, I swear I'll... Damn. Tore the sutures. Of all the times. The worst of the lot within striking distance, and I can't even muster the strength. If it weren't for the third bleeding us, we'd be the end of you. Gilia's treachery nearly cost Lord Quintus his life. We made our escape. Took shelter in a mansion and tended to the wounded as we prepared to strike back, and then night fell. We gathered around the radio. Then the roar. A terrible roar. The capital was in chaos, but we were spared. If you can call this a mercy. Mind intact, but body broken. Soldier in name alone. Cut you down where you stand if I could, murderer. You know, I'm just saying, all y'all attacked us first. Like, come on. Like, I'm not the one that throws aggro out. You're all the ones that are like, come at me with your pointy sticks and shit. I'm glad the Mender's at least making sure he's looking stylish during all this horribleness. This radio is the same model as the one used at Victor's spoils. Perhaps it is what saved the soldiers here from being tempered. Give me 1 second. Came with Julius, didn't you? Well, whatever business brought you here, you'd best keep your hands off that aetherite. It's deactivated, but I'd rather you didn't mess about with it. There are others throughout the city, built by Garleans, for Garleans. You can teleport all over in the blink of an eye, provided there was a terminal nearby. These days, however, we use the aetherite's power to keep this place lit, though that comes at the cost of its normal function. Did you learn anything of note? Your findings are consistent with my own. Their plight is desperate indeed. The sick and injured are at greatest risk. Without warmth and proper nutrition, I fear they soon will perish. I realize there's precious little we can do for them at present, but I cannot bear to see them suffer. Please, will you help me tend to them? Who's there? My eyes, I can't see all that well. Thank you. Numbness has subsided a little. But I know I won't last much longer. You should look to the others who can still fight. Give them my ration. Me going hungry means someone else lives to see another day. So be it. At least I can still serve in that way. Those you met fare no better. I was afraid you would say that. I know we were warned against meddling in their affairs, but we can't leave them like this. Perhaps we might gain permission to have the contingent deliver supplies? Quintus may have made his feelings on the matter quite clear, but even he must recognize they are not in a position to refuse help. Maybe Julius could persuade him? Though we need to persuade Julius first. Julius, we got a bunch of free bread and it's really good. Just take the fucking bread, man. Well, seen enough. Julius, the people here have barely enough food and fuel to survive. Have you and the other soldiers been able to procure any more supplies? We've been scavenging provisions from nearby houses, as most families kept, some stored away in the event they were snowed in. Still, going out and getting it is dangerous work, and we have a lot of mouths to feed. Fuel is the greatest concern. We had some cerulean set aside, until it was stolen. We haven't identified the culprits. Could have been other refugees, or one of the afflicted for all we know. Either way, we're down to the last dregs. Without the heating they need, those in poor health are only going to get worse instead of better. If it's ceruleum you need, our contingent has secured a ready supply. We can have some sent over. We will not accept your charity. If we can hold on a little longer, the situation is sure to change. Aye. Everything will change. Those mysterious countrymen of yours, I assume? Heard something of it, have you? Well, what I've seen, there's little you can do to interfere, so there's no harm in telling you. One of our scouts spotted a hooded man issuing instructions to the afflicted. One of the bastards' words, loyal servants of the Telephore. Then he made his way inside the Imperial Palace, for what stands in place. We'd identified the seat of the enemy's power, we realized. Quintus dispatched a messenger to the 10th Legion, saying as much, and instructing them to join forces with the provincial legions, to prepare for combined assault on the Telephore. Once our allies arrive, your contingent will be sent running for the hills. Then we shall reclaim the capital by our own hands. And how do you intend to survive in the meantime? At this rate, many of your countrymen will perish long before the reinforcements reach Garlemald. They need help now. Say the word and we will bring you ceruleum. Speak with Lord Quintus. So, did he agree to it? You will not place Garlemald in the debt of her enemies. I have, however, been ordered to search for Cerulean outside. If you are under my watch, you will come with me. I mean, this seems like an easy solution. We have them deliver it outside, and then he just comes in with it like, hey, I found it outside. Very well. After all, many hands make light work. You lot are more trouble than you're worth. Once we are outside, you will follow my instructions to the letter. We depart shortly. Oh, I need to be a higher level. Uh-oh. The story segment really does a great job showing you how staunch the Garleans are. Yeah, it really highlights the really illustrates what pride means to some people, and what pride in practice can be like. Well, I need to get some XP. Hey Barius, you're online. You want to join me and queue up for an alliance raid? That'd get me what I'd need to get to the next level, or a dungeon or something, whatever. You in for that? Yeah. Oh hey, and Audie made it online for their stream. That's good. It's your choice. You want to do an alliance raid, or you want to do one of the level 56, or yeah, one of the dungeons, or alliance raid? What do you feel like? Okay. I was wondering when I was going to hit that point where I needed to be 83. Yeah, this is definitely a very dreary part of the story, but I do enjoy it because it does, like you said, it highlights the how staunch the Garleans are. But also, I mean, it does put some things into perspective here about war and humanity and everything like that. Story for Endwalker is probably my favorite for the series. Never thought I'd say that for an MMO, but here we are. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kicking myself. I never got into this game. Yeah. I mean, me too. Like, thank God Destiny got so goddamn boring that I picked this up. Yeah, and you know, same thing. I mean, like you had your experience with WoW. You know, I tried because I think WoW had a point where, before Final Fantasy XIV did it, WoW had a point where you could play like up to like level 50 or something on a free trial. Maybe not level 50. Maybe it was level 20. I know it was like kind of low. Anyway, yeah, and I downloaded it and I tried it, and what I played, it felt like never-ending fetch quests. Like that's all I was doing was just a bunch of fetch quests over and over, and yeah, that made me think like, yeah, I don't really have much reason to get into MMOs. But you know, when I started seeing like stuff about 14 in my feed, and then they had the free trial, and since it was on PlayStation, like, why not try it? Destiny was boring, and I think I think I had just finished 7 Remake around that time. And yeah. It's exactly what it's like. It's not a game like 14 where you can enjoy the solo content. Yeah. I guess Tucker Carlson's on night 2 of complaining about the Sesame Street puppets. Regarding WoW being mostly fetch quests, yeah. And you know, I know there's other MMOs out there. I really didn't have a, I guess you could say, internet setup or any kind of setup where I could play one until, you know, much later in life. Because, you know, when I was a kid or when I was in high school, I mean, we had shit internet and shit computer, and it wouldn't have handled anything. Like even something like RuneScape or something would have been, I mean, again, we're talking that like I had a computer and internet where if somebody had like more than 1 or 2 flashy customizations to their MySpace page, it would take me all night to load their page. When MySpace introduced the ability to have music playing on your page, oh god, man. I could stare at a page for 10 minutes before I'd actually hear the music on it. Oh, the monastery. Been quite some time since I've gotten this one. Right? Mindless self-indulgences shut me up and you're in class. You know, I just realized something, Barius. The red mage should actually be called the green mage, since it adds Ver in front of everything. And, you know, Verde. Yeah, there should be a green mage. That's what it should have been. There's a green mage. Yeah, send tweet. There you go. Oh, I don't have access to Umbral Soul yet. Okay. Guess we're just gonna keep flipping. Look at these people. Look at these people slightly bad-mouthing Black Mage here. Saying in the chat that Red Mage is the only good caster. Just for that, I'm gonna Black Mage even harder. Right, Mustadio. Boja got me all ready to deal with you. Yeah, Paladin is the best tank if you hate tanks.
What's this? I see you. You shall promise. Promise won't save you from what comes next. Let this be your final testament.
That really sucked.
We're just warming up. I am a man of my word. I rarely miss. What's this?
Damn it. Didn't move fast enough.
Run like rats to the castle. Victory is not so close as you think.
Oh, shit. Shit.
You're making this too easy. I see you. Let this be your final testament.
We did it! And I didn't even die, not once. Lady Agrius.
To the current of life we succumb, its judgment swift and final, its bite as cold as steel.
I don't know what I messed up.
Black with corruption and must needs be cleansed! 7 shadows cast, 7 fates foretold, yet on the end of the broken path lies death, and death alone!
A really shitty situation. Oh boy. Okay.
Tremble as the brilliance of 1,000 bolts blinds mine enemies and tears their flesh asunder!
Yeah, see, I don't know what I'm messing up there. Why I keep getting hit?
The dreams of men are fleeting, yet they must be embraced if they are to flourish.
Well, but that's the thing. I mean, as you can see, I was using it. I don't know if I'm not hitting it at the right time or what.
Divine light, send us from our sins! Gaze deep into the light! soul! Ruination is come!
You know, that time I didn't get hit, but I didn't do anything different. Yeah. Must have killed her outside. Good job, team. Man, you know what really makes me sad? Tactics isn't on the Switch. I thought of all things they would port the War of the Lions version to Switch, but nope. I have to wait for triangle strategy.
Your coming was foretold, servant of Iblis. Or perhaps you serve another. I am Count Sidolphus Orlando. Your journey ends here.
I took the long way around.
The hearts of men are black with corruption and must needs be cleansed. I call out to the skies and tremble as the brilliance of 1,000 bolts blinds mine enemies and tears their flesh asunder. 7 shadows cast, 7 fates foretold. Yet at the end of the broken path lies death, and death alone. Open your eyes to the darkness and drown in its loveless embrace. The gods will not be watching. Misfortune hangs heavy on a head once held high. Such is poor cover for when the heavens fall. Come, show me more. To the current of life we succumb. Its judgment swift and final. Its bite as cold as steel. To live by the sword is to die by the sword. There is time enough for regret in the flames of hell. Hold is the blade that severs the villain's head. Endless is the path that leads him from hell. I am called the God of Thunder. Now know why. Upon my holy blade, the very world lies in balance. And now the scales will tip. Piteous display. Were you expecting a modicum of rust? You will find my defenses quite impenetrable.
Ow. Thank you, whoever dragged that right into all of us.
Escape is not so easily granted. They who dwell aloft have spoken. Let their words echo in your empty soul. Ruination is come.
And come. Aw, thanks, Various.
Even the strongest of shields cannot defend the weakest of wills. A moment's hesitation beckons a lifetime of pain. Find my defenses quite impenetrable. The screams of ruin rise above the storm's discord. Shudder not in her endless cold.
Okay, so going back to my ley lines was a mistake there. I get that now. I get that. I understand that.
The clouds have parted, and the sky is clear. It is time I bade you farewell.
That's screenshot material right there.
You shall rue the day you raised your eyes to the heavens. Kneel before me. Your very soul shall not escape me. Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon you. Kneel before me.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
Denizens of the abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon you. Denizens of the Abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon you. Death awaits defiance.
Ow. That didn't go well.
Bear your steel. Simmered as the light of life before rising to the heavens in a cleansing conflagration of divine benevolence. Your sins, your souls are undone. You will not intervene. I am the only good. Few can claim to have endured the might of my will. Denizens of the Abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon. Kneel before me. Your very soul shall not escape my wrath. Kneel before me.
Oh shit. Yep. Yep.
Denizens of the Abyss, from ink of blackest
Nice.
night, I summon. Denizens of the Abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon. Denizens of the Abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon. Your very soul shall not escape my wrath. I see it now, in you. Denizens of the Abyss, from ink of blackest night, I summon.
We did it! Ooh, do I not have the... Okay, I do. Alright. Pretty sure I already have Ultima. We did it! Yay! Damn, that got me quite a bit too. So I think I was only down like just under 1 million from getting 83. And that gave me, yeah, about 1.5 million right there. I think that's part of why I haven't been logging into Run Roulette, is I've been scared that I'm going to be like so over-leveled for everything. Although I would say the biggest cause of concern I have is that I remember going into Boja when I had, you know, all but like 3 or 4 or 5 classes to 80. And so that just, yeah, it felt, yeah. If you remove all your clothes, you get the lower alliance rates. That's what I do. I always get the Crystal Tower series. Or I'd remove all my clothes, but I'm pretty sure that'd get me banned on Twitch. All right, let's see why this quest had to be level 83. Speaking of, okay, yeah, I didn't think so. Well, you keep the pants. I don't know, man. I don't think they draw a line at male-presenting nipples anymore. We begin our search for ceruleum in Ratio Benisma. The first location is Forum Soleus, a park to the northwest of this station. You are to remain close at all times and act only as ordered. Follow me. Yeah, that's an evil as fuck tower. That's an Atlas tower right there. She'll leave the party so that you may continue with any duties you come across. Not sure you'll reach the next dungeon before the stream is over. Yeah, and that's fine. The biggest part for me is that I didn't go through a 30-minute phase of crippling fear of whether or not I should stream this today. I just said, fuck it, I'm streaming it. So what gets done in it is less concern. So this is the park. Surprised they found space for one amongst all these buildings. Actually, the recreational areas came first. The houses were later built around them. A healthy society requires communal spaces for children to play and adults to socialize. This park was named after the founding father of the Empire, the great Solus Zosgalvus. But Solus was Emmet, right? Like, if I'm remembering the extremely convoluted story of Final Fantasy XIV correctly, Garlemald was founded by an Ascian. And that would have been Solus, which Emmet was Solus, or Emmet, I'm trying to remember it, because I know there was something about all that. I can't remember if Emmet was Solus, or if he just reanimated his body for the purpose of everything, but as far as I remember, yeah, Garlemald was Ascian. Like, that was the beginning of it. And so that brings an interesting... that the idea that an Ascian would found a country and a founding principle would be that there needs to be communal spaces as well as you know, the residential around the communal spaces is interesting to me. But I guess in that sense, I mean, the Ascians themselves within their own nation, or within what we've seen of their own nation, I mean, they weren't like evil or nothing. They were just living, just people. I guess they themselves were very much into community, I guess. So I guess that would make sense. Did we come to extract ceruleum from wrecked Magitech armor? No, we've already drained it dry. The same goes for the rest of the Machina in the vicinity. But as our ceruleum has been stolen, we must scour the city for every last drop. While I don't expect to find anything here, I've decided to try one more time, in case something has been overlooked. I see. Then, with your permission, we shall commence the search. Oh. A bit of a problem? Let's go do that real quick. Trying to jump into any fates that I can because, you know, I want to get the 60 fates in every area done. But that's not gonna count because I got there too late, and so it's just gold. Or it's not gold; it was just silver. I'm excited. After stream, I have my choice. I can make up some burritos, or reheat some supreme pizza. I might go with the pizza. Cursory inspection of the wrecked Magitech armor confirms that the fuel canisters had long since been drained of ceruleum, as Julius said. I like that idea of slides. Rather than just one big slide and all the kids are going down it, this is more opportunity for more kids to have more slide time. The contraption is built in the style of Imperial War Machina, armed with a battery of weapons and capable of transforming into different configurations. But on closer inspection, it appears to be no more than a children's slide. That'd suck if you walked outside of the circle on the map and Alizé and Alphino just got a shock. They were okay when you went off to do an alliance raid. I'm sure that that Garleans understand the need for a duty finder. I mean, they seem very much ones of duty and pride. So I bet they were like, yeah, okay, that's cool, we get it. You gotta go level up. Several points of interest are marked on the map of Forum Solis. The pond and children's play areas. To your knowledge, however, none would require the use of cerulean. Though rather small by Garlean standards, the structure is reminiscent of a merchant's stall. Perhaps it was built for children to play at shopkeeper. There's nothing inside resembling Magitech or any other devices that would be fueled by cerulean. Julius, you took us to a bad spot. There ain't shit out here, man. Why don't you just go kill some of them sprites? They literally have cerulean in the name. Oh, it's you. Any luck? There's no sign of any cerulean. Hardly surprising, but disappointing nonetheless. I couldn't help but notice you gazing at the pond. Is something the matter? What? Yes, I mean, no, It's just, I used to bring my brother and sister here to play. The pond was heated to stop it from freezing over, so, like all the other children, they just had to wade in and splash about. Would have stayed there if I hadn't dragged them out. We'd be sopping wet when all was said and done, every time. Every time when we'd get home, my mother would scold us, saying we'd catch our death walking around like that. The pond was heated. With with a cerulean-powered heater by any chance? I suppose it must have been. Come to think of it, I remember seeing engineers changing out a tank beneath the hatch. That was a long time ago, when the water still flowed clear and wasn't this brackish muck. We can't see a thing, and I can't remember where the hatch might be. With the machinery most likely broken, the amount of filth in there is probably the only reason it hasn't frozen over. I'd wager it's still unbearably cold, though. Julius, what are your thoughts on magic? The average Garlean would jump out of their skin if they saw it. But the first has a few foreign signiferi in Medici, so it doesn't scare me. And I take it you won't mind if I employ a little nap. Alphino, as you have a knack for finding dry wood, well, why don't you bring me some? Once that's done, the blast of verifiers should do the trick. Leave it to me. You're not planning to go in there, are you? Of course I am. That tank isn't going to fetch itself. There's nothing so involved as extracting unprocessed ceruleum from a frozen lake like how the tappers do it. We're talking about a shallow pond in a park, and we have a way of warming ourselves up after. That's insane. So, fancy it in? Step aside while I drink the pond dry. That way we'll find it in no time. That may be the stupidest thing I've heard in a while. And that's saying something considering who my brother is. I can't fault your enthusiasm, though. Let's do it my way first, and if that doesn't work, perhaps then you can try your method. With Alphino's help. That was a beautiful interaction. That was wonderful. You delve into the murky water but come up empty-handed. Turn injury to insult, the icy wind on your damp clothing chills you to the bone. Let's be good, it's cold. Perhaps we should have listened to Julius after all. Delve into the murky water, but come up empty-handed. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Beneath the water, your fingers catch on what you think might be a handle. Open the hatch and retrieve a ceruleum tank. However, your grand discovery comes at great personal cost, as you become acutely aware of the freezing cold and a rancid odor emanating from every ilm of your body. Julius will doubtless feel compelled to pinch his nose shut when you deliver to him your prize. Uncovering hidden treasure is an adventurer's bread and butter, though one is not normally required to go elbow deep in ice-cold, stagnant pond water to retrieve it. Nevertheless, many would choose that over mowing down hordes of slavering beasts or solving annoying puzzles. Did you find anything? Ugh, hope you did. That's it! And there's still some ceruleum left. The fire's still not ready. Hold on, I'll get Alphino hanged. call me an Uldan because by fire I am reborn, and my clothes are mostly dry now, too. I appreciate you recovering the ceruleum, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me beforehand. Despite the way you've been treated, in Lord Quintus's eyes, you're still envoys deserving of protection. If you were to die on my watch, he would be most displeased. Your concern is duly noted, but all's well that ends well. Julius, you mentioned coming here with your younger siblings. Did you grow up in Garlemald? I did, not far from here. My father was an accomplished researcher in his youth, and for his contributions to the Empire awarded an estate. We lived well, better than many. What was Garlemald like in those days? Everything. It was everything you could imagine, and so much more. Even during the coldest winters, we always found warmth and comfort at home. Coming in from the snow, taking off your coat, and sitting down for a hot meal with family. Visiting friends and relatives, receiving that same welcome, knowing they had everything they needed. Walking down the street, seeing the lights in all the houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song, of happiness. And although the summers came and went all too quickly, that brief respite, the ice would melt and the forgotten grass make its triumph return. Gray clouds gave way to blue skies. Some mornings we'd climb to the top of the tallest building we could find to watch the sunrise. Never again. Those rooftops are rubble. Those friends dead, and those memories. But if I could reclaim even a fraction of what we once had, soon our chance will come. We just need to hold on a little longer. They're doing quite a bit to humanize the Garleans. Not that they haven't done that before. I mean, you know, they did that pretty well with Gaius van Balzar, and you know, with some of the other Garleans we met here and there, but as far as, you know, most of who we've met are either ones that left Garlemald and left Garlemald and no longer sweared loyalty to you know, whoever was reigning at the time. But here we're meeting people that are, you know, still very much all about the Garlemald. Just fair warning: when you bring the tanks back, consider stopping or committing 2 more hours. The story really picks up more. Well, then that sounds like a good place to end it. Oh, that's right, I can't attune to that. Yeah, well. It's not like I... Oh, excuse me. It's not like I super need the XP build-up anyway. Well, actually, let's see. I'll just travel to my apartment and, you know, I know we'll have to walk back here. Sorry, Alphino. Sorry, Alize. Sorry you're about to get shocked. We gotta peace out. But yeah, so there we go. We're going to the events that will domino, and you'll probably not want to stop anytime soon. You don't get that aetherite for some time too. Okay. Well, good. Thanks for the warning there. Alright, so we're going to toss a raid to our good old friend Audie, who I believe has just made it to Endwalker. I know last stream that I saw, Audie was finishing up was getting through the patch right before Endwalker, so they should be into Endwalker already. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go raid Audie. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Barius, thank you very much for the help. Much appreciated. I hope you all have a good night, and I hope your weekend starts off well. Gonna be back tomorrow afternoon, probably with more of this, probably with more Final Fantasy. Although we may switch it up and do some Nier, but I think we'll continue with Final Fantasy because I, want to get through some of this. Yeah, that's gonna be it. So, again, thank you all for coming. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Gonna rate Audie and yeah, catch you next time.